Hitchhiker Chronicles, Tome 1. Hitchhiking was a trip. Chapter Embassies, cover page. Probably most of you that travel abroad never had to go or use Canadian embassies and their consular services. But some of you did already or will. I would like to take those next few lines to take the opportunity to thank all the many embassy staffs that I had the pleasure to deal with. Your help and advice were and are still greatly appreciated. As for myself, I went to 5 Canadian embassies so far for their consular advices and services. To ask for advice, deal with lost or stolen passport issues, or perhaps to borrow money to get immediately out of Dodge. Chronologically, one after the other one there, chronologically, I cannot say that word, but anyway, I wrote it. First, September 8, 1997, in Den Haag, Holland. Second, October 9, 1997, Belgrade, former Yugoslavia. Third, February 2006, Mexico City, Mexico. Fourth, October 2009, Bern, Switzerland. And fifth, February 2012, Rabat, Morocco. Chapter Embassies, Belgrade, former Yugoslavia, October 9th, 1997. Poor Dawn. She got stuck waiting for me outside the Canadian Embassy while keeping an eye on my backpack. Quite an extensive search was performed before I could get in the embassy itself. Going through with my backpack would have slowed down the process even more, but the backpack couldn't be allowed in without a proper search. Poor guy, man. You should have opened that, man. Fucking dirty socks and shit. So Dawn Bennett, reference Friend in Need, Friend Indeed chapter, got stuck with it, the backpack, outside the embassy door. All I could afford for a train ticket was a portion Athens Belgrade, but I couldn't really hitchhike through then, Yugoslavia. All my friends and acquaintances in Europe strongly advised me against it. I was once again out of money. Thanks to Nick Niotis for the cash while I visited my friend Yanni in Athens, the last of it was spent buying an entry and crossing Macedonian visa while on the train, a cold coffee, and a half-full lighter. To leave Greece, it was anyway, to get out of Macedonia. I had to go through Macedonia and I had to buy a visa there. In the morning, Dawn said to me that her dad told her once that she ever got stuck in a country and needed to get out, that then to go to their embassy for help. You pay taxes, they should be able to help you. Once inside, I realized that the atmosphere was definitely quite more electric and frenetic than the one I had experienced in Den Haag, Holland. Armed security guards were everywhere, definitely not a place for horseplay. There was a glass room full of people trying to get in, a Canadian entry visa. That's what I think, anyway. The vice consul came to see me personally. She said, "What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here." I explained to her that I was touring Europe, and I was on a train coming from Athens, making my way back to Czech Republic, but this is here, Belgrade, that my train ticket stopped. She then asked me, "How much money do you need now to leave the country now?" I replied, $100. She said, "American?" "Sure." I assured her then that I would be in an hour or so on the next train for Budapest. I had checked it out before, whatever. "Wait here, I'll send you my assistant." About 5-10 minutes later, a young, blonde, beautiful 25-ish-year-old woman from Ottawa, if I remember well, came to see me with a $5 $20 US bill and some paperwork related to the loan. I filled the papers, she gave me the $100, and then she stuck a sticker on the last page of my passport. I had 1 year to pay the money back to a Canadian Ministry of Foreign Affairs or to a Ministry of Consular Affairs, I don't remember well. And once back in Canada, I couldn't travel outside the country without this debt being paid. So I grabbed the cash, shook her hand, and wished her well in such a turmoil. Once out of the embassy, Dawn asked me, "So, I got 100 back. I paid what I owed her for my share of the previous Belgrade all-night out expense. We changed some money in local currency. I bought my train ticket to Budapest, which took most of the money. Once I had my train ticket, we realized that there was not much we could buy as souvenir. Dawn kind of looked, but she couldn't find any. We tried to change our local currency into US fund, but we went back to the same money exchange booth. The window was shut in our faces, and all the other booths did the same thing. We were able to change the local currency back to Deutschmark with a cab driver, but at a slight loss. So we jumped on the train and got out of Dodge. Chapter Embassies, Den Haag, Holland, September 8th, 1977. 2 years? I don't want to stay 2 years. I only want to stay 2 months. Sorry, sir, that's the law. Thanks, have a good day, and all that stuff. So I hung up the phone. That was the end of my conversation with an alien police officer. It was the most that the embassy could do for me at the time, a phone call. All in all, I wasn't in danger of any kind, and I had all my papers. It was my first time at a Canadian embassy. After having spent the prior weekend in Breda with my new buddy Erwin Brooken, reference number 37, and hospitality chapter, it seems to me that going to the embassy wondering about a possible work permit was my last resort. If I wanted to work in Holland, all kind of work but needed to get a permit. Check it out. According to my alien police conversation, I couldn't get a on-the-fly work visa at my age, unless I could prove that I had already been in the country for at least 2 years. This meant living, renting a place, working there illegally without being noticed. If I could do that, that will show that I was perfectly integrated, and I could function within the Dutch society and its laws. Without making problems, a perfectly good laws-abiding citizen, but illegal. When that proved, then I could get a working visa. Isn't it weird?